The Masterclass series is graciously funded by the National Endowment for the Arts. Art Works. In an age where college funding is limited, education resources are questionable, and arts programs are being cut, the Coalition for African Americans in the Performing Arts, better known as CAAPA, has stepped up to the plate. Inspired by CAAPA as part of its commitment in supporting classical music education and performance artists throughout the United States and abroad, we offer the Masterclass series. CAAPA marries serious music students with acclaimed music masters of color, targeting historically black colleges and universities, or HBCUs, high school performing arts schools, and music conservatories, including the universities of Alabama State, Clark Atlanta, Fisk, Hampton, Howard, Lane College, Morgan State, North Carolina Central, Spelman College, Virginia State, and Xavier University of Louisiana. Since its launching in 2014, the Masterclass series helps students work on technique, improve stage presence, fine-tune performances, and build self-confidence. While emphasis is placed on classical music students to participate in the Masterclass series, audiences and faculty members are also encouraged to attend the free-to-the-public sessions. An exciting and fresh way to help CAAPA bring color to the classics. The Coalition for African Americans in the Performing Arts, in partnership with Southern University and A&M College at Baton Rouge, presents the Masterclass series, the premier Black classical music masterclass series.
Southern trees bear a strange fruit. Blood on the leaves and blood at the root.
Mezzo-soprano Marietta Simpson, whose extensive career includes performances with every major orchestra in the United States under many of the world's greatest conductors, including the late Kurt Masur, Simon Rattle, Lorne Mazel, and the late Robert Shaw, with whom she made her Carnegie Hall debut in 1988.
Strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees.
She has performed on some of the great operatic stages of the world, including La Scala, Glyndebourne, Royal Opera House, Covent Garden, Opera de Bordeaux, Houston Grand Opera, LA Opera, New York City Opera, Glimmerglass, Washington National Opera, and the Opera Company of Philadelphia. In September of 2018, she returned to Opera Philadelphia for the world premiere of Limit Beecher's critically acclaimed Sky on Swings, an opera focused on the struggle of Alzheimer's disease. Ms. Simpson created the leading role of Martha alongside international opera star Frederica von Stade.
Those eyes too, and a nice gray streak. You, I'm warm, you're warming me up.
Marietta has several Grammy-nominated recordings, including the Grammy Award-winning recording of William Balcomb's Songs of Innocence and Experience on the Naxos label. Her first solo CD, Crooked Stick, Songs of My People, a collection of spirituals, was released in February 2019, and the WRTI Crooked Stick, the live concert, received a 2020 Telly Award. Among her many awards is an Emmy for Strange Fruit with guitarist Dr. Tyrone Cooper, produced by WFYI Television. In 2019, she was selected as a fellow in the American Academy of Arts and Sciences, and in 2021, she was selected as a member of the American Academy of Teachers of Singing. She is currently the Distinguished Rudy Professor of Music at Indiana University Jacobs School of Music in Bloomington, Indiana.
There is a strange and bitter.
Facilitating today's masterclass is mezzo-soprano Marietta Simpson. Before we meet the music master, I would just like to say hello to everyone and welcome to CAAPA's virtual masterclass series. My name is Angela Renée Simpson, and I am the program director of the series and your host. I would like to thank Southern University and its music department for agreeing to partner with us today in bringing color to the classics. To the Southern University music students and faculty who are observing via Zoom, we will have a short question and answer session after Ms. Simpson finishes working with Ms. Ross. Please feel free to use the chat button for any questions you may have. And those who are watching on Facebook Live, please post your questions in the comments. Now, without further ado, I bring to you our music master, mezzo-soprano Marietta Simpson, followed by Southern University junior baritone, Mr. Deterrius Johnson. Ms. Simpson. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for joining us and doing this for us. It's a pleasure. It's an honor and a privilege.
Listen, it's absolutely my honor to be here with you all today. And I have to tell you, when I saw the videos of all of the other teachers that you've had with you, my colleagues and friends, I was absolutely humbled to see their pictures and thrilled to be here with you today.
So
thank you, Angela. You know I love you, and and so I'm thrilled to be here. Thrilled to be here.
Wonderful. If we can bring on Mr. Johnson. Hello, Mr. Johnson. All right, we will get started. I will leave you to it.
Okay. Mr. Johnson, would you introduce yourself and tell me what you're going to sing today?
Hello, my name is Deterrius Johnson. I am a junior at Southern University. I will be singing Madamina, the aria from Don Giovanni, which is Leppaletto's aria. Basically, Leppaletto is basically saying he got women here, he got women there. You think he really care about you, so that's basically what the song is about.
Okay.
Madamina, il catalogo è questo, delle belle che muoie parlano io, un catalogo lieto fattio. Osservate, leggete con me, osservate, leggete con me. In Italia 640, in Lamagna 231, 100 in Francia, in Turchia 91, ma in Hispania, son già 1003. mille fra queste contadine, cameriere cittadine, o contesse e baronesse, marchesani, principesse e bandogne, d'ogni grado, d'ogni forma, d'ogni età, d'ogni forma, d'ogni età. In Italia 640, in Lamagna 230, 100 in Francia, in Turchia, 91, ma in Spagna son già 1.300. Fra queste contadine, cameriere, cittadine, o contesse, baronesse, marchesani, principesse, erano d'ogni grado, d'ogni forma, d'ogni età, d'ogni forma, d'ogni età, d'ogni forma, d'ogni età.
Okay. How did that feel for you?
It was fun for a minute. It was fun.
Yeah, in terms of how you normally feel when you do that piece.
Um, this time I felt at ease a little bit because I felt very at ease. I got more familiar with the song now, and so it's just
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
Good, good, good. How long you been working on this piece?
I'll say since August.
Okay. All right. Good, good. So you said at the beginning, um, you're saying to her, he doesn't love you like that. Did you say that?
Yeah, I'm basically saying that she's not the only woman he
She's
had.
not the only one. Who is she?
Don Vida.
Okay, and who is he?
Lepelero, but the man that he's talking about is Don Giovanni.
Right. Okay. So what is he trying to convince her of? Is he trying to tell her to move on, or is he trying to tell her to don't take him so seriously? Is
He's basically saying not I don't know if he's telling her to move on, but I do know that I know she's falling hard for him. Don Evita is crazy over Don Giovanni. And so
okay?
he's saying that he has 1,003 in Spain. So
Okay.
if he has that many just in one country, what you think you mean to him, you know?
Right. Okay. So do you think he is being so he's trying to convince her, right? Do you
Mhm.
think?
Mhm.
Okay, exactly. So I think in this piece, because it seems clear to me that you know what you're saying, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Yeah. So I think that you can be even more specific when you are saying the things that you're saying. Like when you say ma, right? Let's go back to one of those times. Is there anything that's particularly difficult in this piece for you?
Um, the thing that was difficult for me was the after the
Yeah. Oh, can we go back to that spot?
yes, ma'am. The first part, this the first before we go out. Okay. So yes, sure. Ma queste contadine cameriere cittadine von contesse baronesse morghesane principesse e van d'ogni guardo, d'ogni forma, d'ogni età, d'ogni forma, d'ogni età, d'ogni forma, d'ogni età.
Good. So stop. Tell me what's difficult about that spot for you.
Um, it's not as difficult now. It's not difficult now, but that's what's my most challenging part. And basically, it was the
The
pronouncing
pattern.
the pattern of it, and also pronouncing it with the Italian words.
Right. So here's one thing I'm going to suggest to you. If you try to keep the Italian not so separate, speak the text right there for me.
Van fra queste contadine, cameriere cittadine, van
Right.
baronesse marchezzani principesse.
Right. Can you do it one more time?
Van fra queste contadine, cameriere cittadine.
Yeah, right. So right in there. Van fra queste contadine, da, 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 da. Can you make it more legato and less?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Try it again. No, just speak it. Just speak it. Don't sing it.
Van fra queste contadine, cameriere cittadine, van contesse baronesse marchezzani principesse.
Yeah, right. So the more you chew it, the more difficult it is. The more you think about it being on the breath and being legato, the less mouthy it is. All right. So, and the contadine, And the more you think about it there, and that's chewed, I know that that the simpler it, and it will never be easy. Let's just tell the truth about that. But the more that you make it legato, the less it will sound angular and more horizontal it will sound. Okay, so that's one of the things that I wanted to say to you in all of those spots. Our articulation is not like the piano, right? So the more that we can think about it being this way and not that way, it will sound more, it will sound more legato, but it will have the effect that you want it to have. Okay, good. I would like to go back and kind of start backwards. I would like you to start, voice up down far. Can we start at the very end in that spot?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That might not be a good spot. Can you start from like ke fa pa ke po da 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 dee da dee da dum bum bum. So like the last, yeah, thank you.
Urcher portillato nella voisa pete quel che fa,
Good, all of that, the same idea, right? Because right now it feels a little bit like every single note is a note unto itself instead of thinking about that being really, really, really connected. So even if you don't end up using that articulation, just for right now, can you think about it being more glued together? All right. Can you start at the same spot for me?
voisa pete quel. I'm sorry. Okay. Yes. Going to start. Yes. Voisa pete quel che fa.
Good, I'm gonna stop you one last time. And then now I'm gonna ask you to do this and just start from quel que fa, all right? And I'm gonna ask you to do a totally different, just a play exercise, all right? And I'm gonna ask you to do, because it sounds like you're singing a different vowel. So I'm gonna ask you to change a vowel, okay? All right. So I'm gonna ask you to do like a baby cry. Wah, 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 wah. Okay? Can you do that?
Wah, 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 wah.
Yeah, now just start it on wah on the bottom and then change to the vowel you need to sing. All right?
Can you say that one more time?
Yes, so start wah on the bottom and then switch to the vowel you need to sing.
Okay. Wah, 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 wah.
Yes, okay? Because you've gotten into the habit of like making your vowel really, really, really dark and covered. And I think that your vowels need to come just a little bit more forward, all right? Because you are a baritone.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, so just because you're a baritone doesn't mean that you have to sing dark, because your voice is whatever it is, but we don't have to sing a color, right? So it will have the ring and presence and all of that, and the words are quel que fa as opposed to quel que fa. All right. So make sure that you're really saying the word, and we'll get all that beautiful lushness and color in your sound, and the sound will still carry. Okay. All right. So let's sing it on the right words this time, but make sure so that we can get all that beautiful color and everything that's in your voice. Okay. Let's try it right there.
quel che fa.
And the other thing is, when you're spinning up, you got to make sure that you spin all the way up so we get the right pitch. Quel che fa. Otherwise, it'll be lazy on top. Okay? One more time.
Quel che fa.
Okay, all right. So much of that, I will take that to the bank. Okay. Now, it doesn't mean then that we have to strip away color from our sound because we want to say the words. So it still needs to be vertical. It still needs to be round and all of that. But there is a balance in there always. And that's what we're always striving for, is the balance. The other thing I'd like to go back to is the very beginning now. All right. And sometimes when we have these really quick breaths, we want to gasp for them. Right? So you have to make sure that we find a way to balance getting the breath without gasping. Okay? And I'm sure you're working on that, because we're always working on that. Right? So let's just try a couple of these first ones. I'm not sure if you ever breathe through your nose, or if you ever talk about that. Trying to like strike that balance of that kind of breath, so we have more silent breaths and less kind of asthmatic kind of breathing, or last minute breaths. Okay. Let's try from the beginning. And if I haven't said this already, you have a beautiful voice, which I'm sure you know, and you don't need me to affirm, but I will anyway. Okay. All right, let's try it from the beginning.
Madamina, il catalogo è questo, delle belle che a noi il padron mio, un catalogo è lieto fatio, osservate, leggete con me, osservate, leggete con me. In Italia 640, in Lamagna 231, 100 in Francia, in Turchia 91, ma in Hispania.
Good. So I'm just going to ask you this. The ma, which sounds beautiful, right? Sounds absolutely beautiful. But what does the ma mean?
Ma is
Yeah,
I am unsure.
that's what I thought. Okay. But here's the thing. You can't be unsure, because ma means but, right? So every time you sing ma, it means but.
Gotcha.
But in Spain, right? And it's not that I know Italian that well, right? It's that I know ma, it means but. So every time you say that, when you come to it, so it's not just about, and that note sounds beautiful in your voice, but your intention when you say that should inform how you sing that, right? So every word that you say, you have to know what is coming out of your mouth, right? So, because when we're singing in a foreign language, we want to be as familiar with the text so that when we're singing it, we never get lost in just how we sound, so that we can be greater storytellers. because there's something about Spain, and it's not just the number of people that he has in Spain, right? It is, boy, what's going on in Spain, right? So for you, it's also like, do you have like some envy about what's going on in Spain? Do you have your own game going on in Spain? Like, it's all of those things. So every time you say ma or ma or whatever ma is to you, your character of Leporello, like what is the relationship between Don Giovanni and Leporello?
Leporello is his servant. Right,
but as a servant, what is that relationship? Is there camaraderie? Is there envy? Is there sometimes you get his throw-offs or what? You know? So how does that inform your telling of the story? You know, I'm not expecting you to be able to tell that right now, but in your study of this aria and how you sing it, we have to have some indication of that. All right, because that allows you to have choices as the teller of the story. Okay, so that gives you something else to think about it. So that every time you come to the ma, 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 okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Right. So that just because it gives you more options. All right. So now that you know what ma is, can we get this?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Let's go back and capture the ma.
Madamina, il catalogo è questo, delle belle che voi parlo mio, un catalogo è lieto fatio, osservate, leggete con me, osservate, leggete con me. In Italia 640, in la Maglia 231, 100 in Francia, in Turchia 91, ma in Ispania, in Ispania son già 1003. Fra queste contadine, cameriere cittadine, con contesse e baronesse, marchesane, principesse e madonni, d'ogni guerra, d'ogni forma, d'ogni età, d'ogni età.
Good. So in this, and it also, when you know specifically what you're saying, it will tell you what you can highlight and what you might ease up on so that you're not singing everything full throttle, right? So in this last thing that you just sang, you know what you were describing, right? Okay, so tell me what we were just explaining right there.
He's describing the different types of women that Don Giovanni has fooled with.
Right. Yeah, I got you. It's okay. Right. So it might give you something to describe, right? The baronesses, the principesses, the this, the that, right? So then
5 minutes, Miss Simpson. You have 5 minutes.
Thank you so much. So it allows you, so this, the that of every figure, of every age, right? So it allows you to just be way more specific in your storytelling. It allows you to do more things with your voice, right? So can you go back and maybe try that? Okay, right there.
From the beginning or just?
Right no, just from this, from Van fra queste contadine. Okay. Is that a good spot for you to start?
Is it? Yeah, that's right. Van fra queste contadine, cameriere cittadine, con contesse e baronesse, Marquesani, principesse, evan, d'ogni quadro, d'ogni forma, d'ogni età, In Italia 640, in la Magna 231, 100 in Francia, in Turchia 91, ma in Hispania.
Excellent. So now when you come to the ma, we are much more specific with that. Doesn't that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely. And here's the other thing that I noticed this time. Your voice has more clarity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's much more ping in what I like to say ping and ring in the sound too, right? So you're being more mindful of that, which is absolutely beautiful. All right. The other thing I'd like to say to you, as you go up, right, make sure that you stay vertical with these sounds like in Italia, in Italia, right? Make sure that all of those sounds that you're mindful. I know all of the things that you are working on, right? I hear it. It's beautiful in your sound, right? Can you just capture that last? Where is it? The last Italia that you had, the line that had that in there.
In Italia 640, in Germania 231, 100 in Francia, in Turchia 91, ma in Hispania, son già 1003.
Yeah, right there. Do me a favor. Think in España. Right? Keep it in your Hummer place, okay? Right there.
In Hispania son già 1003. Forgot what I meant. Yes, so it's going into the question. Okay, sorry.
You good? No, you all right?
Mm.
Okay.
I just because we were stopping in different places, I just forgot where I was at.
Hey, it's all right. There's a lot happening in this area. Question: a couple of times when you first went through, you were holding your stomach, so I wasn't sure if something was going on with your breath or if you're okay. Did you feel out of breath?
No, I usually lean on. I learned to lean so I can lean on my support system.
Okay, all right. I just wasn't sure what was happening with that. Can you say mi lettere? Did you go down on that?
Mi lettere.
Good. Now here's what I'm going to say. If you can think of that cutoff of that last mi lettere, if you can think about the cutoff being the preparation for the next thing, as opposed to being a throwaway,
Okay.
right? And like get rid of that, and now I got to go to the other thing. I think you'll be better prepared for the next line that's coming up.
That's time, Ms. Simpson. That's time.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Listen, it was such a pleasure to hear you sing.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, and it really was. You have a beautiful voice, and I wish only the best for you going forward. Really, a real joy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Next, we have Southern University freshman soprano, Ms. Cheyne Ross.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing?
What are you going to sing for us today?
I'll be singing Laurie's song from the Tenderland opera, and it's made by Aaron Copland.
Great. I'm sorry I didn't let you even say your name, Cheyenne, please.
My name is Cheyenne Ross. I'm a freshman at Southern University.
Great, great.
All right. Okay. Once I thought I'd never grow tall as this fence. Time dragged heavy and slow, but April came and August went before I knew just what they meant. And little by little I grew. And as I grew, I came to know how fast the time could go. Once I thought I'd never go outside this fence. This space was plenty for me. But I walked down the road one day and just what happened I can't see. But little by little it came to be.
I'm sorry, the pages are out of order. I'm sorry. I apologize. Who's again? This is wrong. I was trying to look at it. 2 seconds. All right. Okay, this is it.
Sorry about that. Once I thought I'd never go outside this fence. This space was plenty for me. But I walked down the road one day and just what happened I could see. But little by little it came to
Thank you, Cheyenne. Well, we had a teachable moment there with the music. So it's good. And it's good to have those moments now, right? Because you'll know from now on, always like double and triple check that stuff because it happens, right? And the world kept spinning. So, um, good. You have a beautiful voice. And so you're a freshman?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So good. Where'd you come from?
I'm from Wisconsin.
Wisconsin?
Yes, ma'am.
Cool. Cool. Um, so tell me about this piece. How long have you been working on it?
Um, I've had this song before COVID happened, but I wasn't able to learn it all the way. So when I came here, we brought it back up, and so it's been about a few months.
Okay.
Hmm.
Do you like this piece?
I do like this piece. Yeah.
Okay. Great. I love this piece. I think it's such a beautiful aria. Um, so Laurie, girl graduating from high school, right? Do you identify with her at all?
I suppose, yeah, we both graduated from high school.
Yeah. Okay.
Start something new.
Uh-huh. Great. Great. Let's start this from the beginning. All right. Is there a part in here vocally? It doesn't sound like it, so that's why I'm asking you this. Is there anything in here that's particularly challenging vocally for you?
Um, Probably about like the fourth page where all the acts, like accidentals are, having to get those.
Yeah, that's musically, but not vocally.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Okay, good. So let's start from the beginning. All right. And let me just say, I think sometimes we forget that silence in music is as important as the music when we're actually singing. So I'm going to ask you to start from the beginning, and you don't have the music in front of you and I do, so you're at a little bit of a disadvantage, right? But remember that your first entrance, that where the piano has dum bum bum, there's a half note before you actually come in. So make sure you don't jump your first entrance.
Okay.
As soon as you hear the piano play that D natural, the instinct is to come right in as soon as the piano plays that D natural. Make sure you count a full 2 beats before you actually enter. Okay? All right.
Once I thought I'd never grow tall as this fence. Time dragged heavy and slow, but April came and August went before I knew just what they meant.
Good. Can we do that much again? All right. And I'm going to ask you to feel like have you ever played a stringed instrument or anything like that? You ever played
Yeah.
any other instrument? Good. What did you play?
I learned how to play the violin a little bit. But
Great. So you know how a violinist uses the full bow?
mhm.
I'm going to ask you to use your full bow and literally do that. Like,
Okay.
right? And you know how the violin warms up and starts their vibrato before they start playing? I'm going to ask you to do that and use your full bow. Maybe you put 2/8 notes on every bow, but I'm going to ask you to do that for every. Once I thought I'd never come tall as this fence. Okay?
Okay.
All right, try that. Just a measure before she comes in, please. Start warming up.
Once I thought I'd never grow tall as this fence.
Use your bow.
Time dragged heavy and slow, but April came and August went before I knew just what they meant.
it is, but I want there to be a lot going on so that you keep,
Okay.
but I just want you to know, it makes a very big difference. All
Yeah, I
right?
did notice a difference.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Take it, but April came and August went.
But April came and August went before I knew just what they meant. And little by little it grew.
But here you go. But little by little it came to be.
Yeah.
That's all right. Listen, this is an exercise. This is not, you're now on Carnegie Hall stage performing. So it's an exercise. You're going to make mistakes, and that's all right. This is totally the safe zone and experimental zone. You're doing great. All right. Good. So worry less about the warm up. Be more concerned about your bow arm. Okay. Good. But little and
But little by little I grew.
the words are, but little by little it came to be.
I'm so
Yep.
sorry.
You're doing great. But little by little.
But little by little it came to be. That line between the earth and sky came beckoning to me.
That's absolutely right.
That was the right words?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. Now, what I love about that is that I feel like I have more body in your sound, right? And there's just more you in that sound. All right. Instead of you worrying about sound and words and all that. Okay. Sometimes we get so wrapped up into is it right? And creating perfection that we lose ourselves, right? And then we don't have any of the elements that we really want to have in there. So we have to make sure that in our quest for being right, that we stay engaged in all of that. We keep all of the elements in there. Now you might do that all the time, right? And this might just be an isolated moment because you're nervous that you're not. Okay. But that sounded really beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's keep going. Now you can drop your violin, but you have to keep the what we gleaned from that process. Okay. And little by, you don't have to say little by little. You can have a little bit of D in your T. Little by little we grew. I mean, little by little, I'm saying grew. Little by little, and I'm looking at the music, came to me. No, we don't have to go back to that's just a comment on the diction. Let's go now the time. And can we get a little bit of the diphthong? Now the time, okay? And whatever the correct pitch is, because I know that was not correct, what I just gave you. So we're gonna start from moving forward, the B natural for now the time.
I'm sorry, I don't see what is it.
I have it as the third system of the second page.
Oh, I see. Oh, I see. All right.
Now the time has grown so short.
Let's do this again. So we're gonna, it's not a mistake, it's just a comment. I would like you to give us now the time, and don't skimp on the value of the note. Now the time has grown. So I'm a really stickler in English for us singing the diphthongs that are present in the words, as opposed to just giving us the first vowel and kind of skipping forward and not singing the full value of the note. Okay? Good. Right there.
Now the time has grown so short, the world has grown so wide.
Good. Let's do that much again. Let's do that much again. No scooping. All right. Now the time has grown so short. The ooh world on the pitch. Yeah. The world has grown so wide. Okay?
Okay.
And you're actually going to sing all of those on the pitch. All right?
Okay.
All right. Try it one more time.
Now the time has grown so short, the world has grown so wide. I'd be graduated soon. Why am I strange inside?
Good. Wait, now. No. So, it's not, no, I just meant stop. So, the world has grown so wide, but your mouth doesn't have to grow wide on that word, right? So that we keep all the height in your sound. The world has grown so wide, right? As opposed to wide, so that you stay tall. All right. So can you go, the world has grown so wide, and don't let yourself get wide. All right. Can you give her the starting pitch for the world?
I'm sorry.
It's the pickup to the third measure of the third system.
All right. This is where you stop.
So actually where I'm talking about is the pickup to the third measure. There you go.
Okay, so what's the? Okay. The world. Okay. The
Yep.
world's so wide.
The world has grown so wide.
The world has grown so wide. Okay, are we
Right,
just
so when you
repeating
go,
or going on?
what'd you say?
I wasn't sure if we were going on, if we were just doing that part.
No, just stop it wide.
The world has grown so wide. I'd be graduated soon. Why am I strange inside?
Good. So when you get to side, the same thing, instead of side, side, so that you still have a lot of your upper resonance in that sound. Otherwise, it's going to get a little bit of musical theater in there, which you don't want. Okay. All right. And it's going to be like, okay. So think more side instead of side. Okay. So why am I strange inside instead of inside?
Okay.
All right, good. Why am I strange?
Why am I strange?
If you start off why instead of why,
Why? That's not the
be
right.
natural.
Why am I strange inside? What makes me think I'd like to try?
I think you're starting on the wrong pitch for what?
What makes me think I'd like to try?
Good. Can you, great. Do me a favor. Can you sing that? What makes me think I'd like to try one more time and think about that? Just say that. What makes you think I'd like to try?
What makes me think I'd like to try?
Yeah. So can you smooth that out when you sing it as opposed to what makes me think I'd like to try?
What makes me think I'd like to try?
Brava. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Try it one more time.
Then go on or just.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What makes me think I'd like to try to go down
No. So wait. So this is one of those times when silence helps, right? What makes me think I'd like to try and breathe to go, right? Instead of feeling like you have to hurry up. Okay. You can connect that thought without having to just rush into the next line. You're powerful enough to sustain us through you taking a breath. What makes me think I'd like to try to go beyond the, right? You can do that. You can sustain through that. Try it.
5 minutes, Miss Simpson, 5 minutes.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, try it.
What makes me think I'd like to try to go down all those roads beyond that line above the earth and neath the sky? Tomorrow when I sit upon that graduation platform stand, I know my...
Yeah, so don't be afraid to take a breath, allow yourself the time to actually breathe, and have a second of silence. All right? I know it feels like I gotta hurry up and breathe because there's not a lot of time. You have time to breathe, right? If you're 100% convinced that you don't want to take a breath, to go beyond the roads, beyond the line, above the earth, and neath the sky. You really could take another lift after earth. All right. So just know that it's possible.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. So you don't have to necessarily just sing that entire thing and not take a breath. All right.
All right.
So just know that is possible. Okay. Tomorrow, go back to.
Tomorrow when I sit upon that graduation platform stand, I know my hand will shake when I reach out to take that paper with the ribbon bound.
No, don't come in.
Now that all the learning's done, no one knows what will now begin.
Is there any reason why you didn't breathe after done? Now that all the learning's done.
I took a breath in a weird spot.
Yeah, because there's a comma after now that all the learning's done, comma. Okay, start from there.
Now that all the learning's done, oh, who knows what will now begin? Oh, it's so strange. I'm strange inside. The time has grown so short. The world so
Good. So when your bow is moving now, it is not moving slow, right? It's continual. Your breath is moving and spinning and spinning and spinning. How many vowels do you say at the end? How many? Are you holding that vowel or are you refiring that vowel? You know what I mean by that?
No, I don't.
Okay. So what vowel are you saying on the last note?
What about last word? What? Why? Wait, why? That's my last word now? I'm so sorry. I can't even think of my last word.
Yeah, the world's so wide.
So wide. Okay.
Yeah, so what's the vowel in that?
Uh,
Yeah, so are you saying an ah?
no, I guess I'm going I.
Yeah, so if you're saying ah, just sing so ah, and keep repeating ah instead of holding one.
Okay.
All right. Sing. Sing that.
So. Sorry.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right? Instead of just holding one or something that you're not really 100% sure what you're saying.
Mhm.
All right? And that way it'll still have life as opposed to just holding one, because we never just want to hold a note, right? We want it to have life. We want it to keep spinning and moving and having vibrancy, right? To the very end. And then we release it out into the world.
Mhm.
And on
Okay?
that note, that's time.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Cheyenne. It was such a joy to hear you sing.
Thank you, Ms. Ross. Thank you so much. Okay, now comes our question and answer session. If we have any students that are in the audience that have questions for Ms. Simpson, if they can please come to the camera, that will be wonderful. In the meantime, while we're waiting, I wanted to ask you, I haven't seen you in a long time, and Mr. Hobson, we'll get to you in just a moment.
Surely.
Okay. You can turn your camera off. We'll get to you in just a moment.
Okay.
What I wanted to ask you, Ms. Simpson, was how did you get through the pandemic? How did you, I haven't seen you in a long time, and I know you teach at Indiana University.
Yes.
So how did you fare through the pandemic?
Well, I fared pretty well. I like to tell people God is very good. I have a great family, so we did a lot of FaceTime and Zoom, and there were parts of it that were very, very difficult, and there were parts of it where I was okay because I'm a little bit of an introvert. So within the first week, I had reorganized cabinets, and I was sewing on a sewing machine, quilting, and all of that. And I was cooking up a storm and all that, and then that got really old.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
Re-entry after the pandemic was actually more difficult. Yeah, I had to really do a lot of work for that. Yeah. And I was kind of sick at one point during the pandemic and all of that. So I mean, it's been something, The hardest part, being in the house was not difficult for me.
Okay.
Not being able to visit my family, that was tough.
Yeah,
That was
understandably,
really
understandably. And was there anything that was musically challenging for you?
Well, not being able to make music live with people, that was hard. In that, I mean, I'm at a different point in my career, so I'm not somebody who's just starting out trying to make it and all that.
Right.
I'm at a place where things are tapering off more, quite honestly. So my heart bled for people who were and are at that place.
Right.
So I have to say I had immense gratitude that the majority of my career is in the rear view mirror as opposed to sitting in front of me.
Right, so right. I can understand that.
Yeah, I feel tremendously blessed that I am in the position where I am. So
understood. Do we have any student questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Wonderful. You can turn the camera on. We can get the camera on. We can see you.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi. My name is Keandra Anthony. I just wanted to ask, what advice would you give to a young singer career-wise? That's what I'm having a lot of trouble with. Worried about getting out of school and not knowing where I really want to go.
Well, that's a great question. It really is. I think career-wise, I say this to people all the time, be really thoughtful about what success means. And I will say this, success means different things to different people. And don't allow someone else to tell you what success should be for your life. You are the person who will have to live that life. It might mean something completely different for you, and it might mean something different than it meant in school, right? I thought I wanted to be a band instructor. My mother and my sister were saying that is not what it's going to be for you. And I fought them hard on that. I mean, like tears, knockdown, drag out fights. But success is different for every single person. And whatever that is for you, whether it is in church, whether it is in school, whether it is a combination of things, you have to live a life that when you close your eyes, you are satisfied with that. That will determine what success is for you. So explore, you're young, explore things, try new things. If it's being a backup singer, if it is being a studio musician, if it is something even outside of the arena of the genre, the field of music that incorporates music, whatever that is, be open. Be open to the opportunities that life presents to you and see if that brings joy to you. That's what success is. I think a way for you to combine your skills and talents with the opportunities that come to you. If that is what makes you happy and brings you joy, you have to decide what that is.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
That was more than I was expecting. I appreciate
Yes.
it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Do we have another question?
Okay, I have a question. I was just wondering, like, do you have any advice on how to make connections with other like singers or like other opera organizations? Doesn't Louisiana have an opera organization? Yeah, I was just wondering. Sorry, not from here, but yeah, I was just like wondering
Yeah,
how to where to look to find places where other musicians are meeting up at, and especially
yeah.
like for opera and classical singing.
So I think number one, the people that you like, the people that are in your immediate group right now at school is the first network that you have, right? Establish contacts there. There will be the people that you can establish contacts with the rest of your life, because you don't ever know. You'll probably meet those people and have those people throughout your life. And then the next thing is your teacher has a network. Tap into that network of people. Louisiana, I know, does have an opera company there. Contact those people. Then there's Yap Tracker that has a whole network of like they'll notify you about auditions and all of that sort of thing. There, that's a network. CAAPA has has a whole network of African American performing artists that you can tap into. All of those are places that you can tap in. Facebook has a whole network of African American artists that you can tap into. The other thing I like to say is be the artist that you like, be the colleague that you want to have, right? So if artists in your area are doing concerts, go to those concerts so that you can meet people and start having relationships with those people. That's how you start to create your personal network of, of artists that you can start to associate yourself with. So there's lots of different ways to kind of like tap into people and start to create your own network that you will have honestly and truly for the rest of your life.
Okay.
I hope that's helpful.
No, that was helpful. Thank you.
Do we have any more questions?
I believe that's it.
Okay, well, I will ask a question. So I don't know if you've been asked this, but and maybe you've answered it already, but if you had one thing to tell the students now, and I'm sure you've told your own students this since the pandemic has opened things up a little bit more. What is the one thing you would tell students who are on the verge, say, of graduation? She asked one young lady asked what would her next move be after school, and you did answer that question. But because everything was so closed down, and hopefully we would think now that everything's opening up, we would think that those who are in school were honing their craft. What is the one piece of advice you would give them now that they're about to emerge on a career? You've gave some really sage pieces, especially these two questions were great. But if you had let me just change the question. Something you would have liked to have known when you graduated that you know now that you could pass on to the students.
I don't know. The world is so different than when I
True.
graduated.
This is true. Absolutely true.
You know, when I graduated, people were sending resumes and headshots. Right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. That's
And
what you're doing. Yep.
Not even CDs, tapes.
Yeah, tapes.
Right?
Absolutely.
So, the world is so completely different. But I will tell you this, when I graduated, my mother, who was wise beyond anything and never darkened the door of a teaching studio or anything else and always had the best advice, she was like, you should take a dance class. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh no, I don't need that. Right. I'll never need that. Right. I should have taken a dance class. Because I was once in a Broadway audition where really I did a really great audition.
Mm-hmm.
They were in there crying. I was in there crying. It was great. And then they said, and now our choreographer is going to come and give you some dance steps. And I saw that thing go right away from me because I can't dance to save my life. Okay. And I was like, yeah, mother, you were right. I should dance class. You know, I honestly, I would say the world is so different that
Mm-hmm.
you really do. It is not enough to have a great voice.
That's true.
It's not enough to have a great
That's
voice.
true.
You have to be able to dance and you have to be able to do so many other things and you have to be able to talk about music and you
Mm-hmm.
have to be a kind person and you have to be able to speak up for yourself and you have
Mm-hmm.
to be able to sight read and you have to, there are just so many things that you have to be able to do that
Mm-hmm.
weren't necessarily, you always had to be kind, let me just say that.
Yeah.
But just skills that weren't necessarily at the top of the list when I came out of school,
Mm-hmm.
that it's, crossover and all of that were things that weren't necessarily touted as being necessary.
Right.
I graduated, but are. But here's the thing, crossover in a way that in opera, you still have to be able to sing classically. And I mean at top levels. So it's not like you have to be master of everything.
Right.
You have to have proficiency
Right.
in some things, but you do have to have, you have to have ownership of your voice. And you have to be able to discriminate what people are telling you. So you have to have people that you trust and people who are trustworthy and be able to hear advice and be able to filter. Otherwise, you will not be able to guard your spirit. And you have to be able to guard your spirit.
True.
So,
True. I just thought of one other question. Can we talk about your relationship with Robert Shaw? Because that connection you were talking, that came to mind when she was talking about the connections, and you made that connection, and that was one that was really very vital to your career.
It was very important. Robert Shaw was very important to my career because he was one of those conductors, and there are still conductors out here who are very loyal to singers. He was very loyal. I sang for him in about 1985, 84, before my daughter was born. And I went to sing for him on my way to Houston for my second year in the program in Houston. And I went down to Atlanta, and Robert Shaw, I grew up singing to him, hearing him in my family. My family loved him. We had all his recordings. And so when I sang for him, I sang the Messiah and I sang the B minor Mass for him because he was doing that in the fall. And so he called me out to listen, to talk to him. And he said, listen, I loved your Messiah. I don't think your B minor style is quite, your Bach is not quite ready yet. And I was like, okay. So he hired a countertenor to do the B minor Mass, and he hired me to do his Messiah. And then when he was ready to do the B minor Mass recording, he hired me to do the B minor Mass.
Nice.
And that started a 13-year relationship with him, and until he died,
Mhm,
he
mhm.
kept hiring me. So
Wonderful.
it was just a fabulous experience. He was a trip, but he kept hiring me, and I was really grateful for that. So yeah,
Connections, again, networking and connections, and being
yes,
kind and
and
being
being kind,
professional.
and knowing how to take criticism, not
Mm.
internalize it. And when I did call on my family and friends on the phone and say, "You're not gonna believe what happened," but not taking that into the rehearsal.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for
And
that.
and that's how I actually got here, as a
Mm.
result of my relationship with one of my colleagues through Robert Shaw. So
Wow. See
yeah,
the connections.
yeah,
Wonderful. Wonderful. It's like that's a lesson learned. A
yeah.
lesson learned. Well, I want to bring on Professor Hobson for a few words, if we can do that. Hello, Mr. Hobson, Professor Hobson.
Hi, Angela. How are you? Listen, first of all, I want to say thank you to my students who prevailed in my absence and Mr. Lloyd. You were troopers. I wish I could be
Yes,
there, but
thank you,
of
Mr.
course,
Lloyd. Yes,
Thank you,
for
Mr. Lloyd,
playing.
so
Yes.
much. Playing beautiful.
Mhm.
yes, yes. I'm in New York at the American Opera Center getting ready to rehearse Macbeth for
Mr.
Halloween.
Hobson, take a step to your
Oh,
right. That light
My
is
right or
darkening
left?
to your right. Your right. There we go.
yeah,
Now we
there
can
Okay.
see
we
your
go.
face. Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, and I wanted to thank Marietta because I don't know if she remembered the first time I met Marietta, we were in Memphis, Tennessee. You were
Yes,
doing
sir.
Serena in Porgy
Yes,
and Bess,
sir. Yes, sir.
and you brought along Sylvia Lee, who
Yes, Lord.
I I was fortunate enough to be able to be her chauffeur, and I never got to work with her musically, but I chauffeured around the city to buy her groceries and whatever she needed
Oh,
to do.
Lord. Uh-huh.
That was a wonderful, and you were wonderful in that, and I just wanted to remind you of that, and I wanted to thank Carolyn and Mrs. Braun for taking care of the whole situation in my absence, and of course, finally, Angela, thank you for
Yes.
doing this.
Oh,
Without you,
please,
we would
thank
have
you.
none of this.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you for accepting the invitation, and thank you for the students. The students, the voices were beautiful.
Beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful.
Absolutely
Thank you.
beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hobson.
You're
And
welcome. Thank you.
do you have any parting words for us, Ms. Simpson, as we?
I just wanted to say the students should be so proud of themselves. And it really was an honor to work with both of them. I've been in master classes. I understand what it means to stand up and sing and have somebody ask you to do something on the fly and all of that. And it was just such a joy to hear them. Both supremely talented, and honestly, I wish them the absolute best. Mr. Lloyd, thank you so much for sharing your artistry and collaborating today with the students. I appreciate it. Carolyn, thank you so much. Mr. Hobson, Richard, thank you so much. It was an honor to see both of you. And I am so
Likewise.
glad to be a Black artist. I can't even tell you. I'm part of the collective. I'm grateful. And I'm glad to see people coming up behind us. It blesses my soul. So Angela, thank you for allowing me to be a part of
You
it.
are so welcome. Thank you. And if you all please do not leave, just hang on for 1 minute and I'll be right back. If we can turn their cameras off, and then we're going to get to the end of this. So this concludes our CAAPA's virtual masterclass with Southern University. I hope everyone enjoyed the performance as well as took away some valuable information from Ms. Simpson. CAAPA would like to thank Southern University Interim Department Chair, Dr. Judy Gilboa James, Professor Richard Hobson, Professor Carolyn Sebrin, Mr. Johnson, Ms. Ross, and finally, Ms. Marietta Simpson. We at CAAPA are grateful to continue to bring you more masterclasses in the coming weeks. So remember to mark us in your calendars every Wednesday through mid-December. If you are interested in having the CAAPA virtual masterclass series partner with your institution, please stay and watch our exit video, which will have our contact information. Thank you everyone for joining us and have a wonderful day. God bless.